Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the English Daily Book Summary YouTube channel. In order to not stop learning, listen to an English book summary every day for free.
Daryl Fairweather, Hate the Game, Economic Cheat Codes for Life, Love, and Work. Life often feels like a game where the rules are unclear and the stakes are high. Job offers, rent prices, family responsibilities, and major life decisions can seem rigged from the start. Many people feel like they're playing catch-up in a system designed to keep them one move behind. In reality, these challenges follow patterns that can be understood and navigated if you know how to think strategically. This is where game theory comes in. It offers tools for making better choices in complex, competitive environments. It also shows how to predict behavior, weigh trade-offs, and spot the hidden dynamics in everyday situations. Behavioral economics adds another layer, revealing how emotions, habits, and social pressure can influence decisions more than we realize. Together, these ideas can help us gain agency. In this blink, we'll accompany American economist Daryl Fairweather as she breaks down the key insights that turn economic theory into real-world strategies. As she shows, negotiation, decision-making, and even relationships can be understood as strategic games. The upshot? With the right mindset, it's possible to shift from feeling powerless to seeing patterns and playing smarter. By the end, you'll be able to recognize which games are worth your time, when to walk away, and how to grow stronger with each move. So, if you're facing tough decisions or trying to carve a better path forward, this blink offers a fresh way to think and act with purpose. We make better decisions when we understand the kind of game we're playing. In a world filled with choices, we're constantly deciding which games in life are worth playing. These games can be anything from careers to relationships, business strategies, and even literal games. Each choice is driven by something called a utility function. Think of this as your internal understanding of what's good for you. This personal sense of value isn't always obvious or stable. Sometimes you might not even be sure yourself what you truly want or find satisfying. But the more you experience life and think about those experiences, the better you become at recognizing what truly brings you value and satisfaction. Animals, on the other hand, have clearer goals: survive and reproduce. In their case, decision-making often comes down to optimizing food intake with the least amount of risk, what's known as optimal foraging theory. Imagine a hawk choosing between a weak mouse or a strong rabbit. One is easy to catch but low in reward. The other is riskier but offers more food. The hawk's decision-making is a direct survival tool. For humans, it's more complex. We play games for different reasons. Some are played for rewards like promotions or money. Others are played simply for enjoyment. Think of dancing or the social game of friendship. And some are played for the lessons they teach us. These help us grow skills and knowledge, often referred to in economics as human capital. Unlike the hawk, we're not just playing to survive. We're playing to learn, to connect, and to win in future games. This makes choosing which game to play more than just a cost-benefit analysis. A job might not pay much now, but it could teach skills that lead to better opportunities down the line. A risky investment might fail, but the lessons could set you up for success next time. So the outcome includes the valuable learning gained during the process, which in turn helps to improve future choices. Of course, not all games offer that learning. Games of pure luck, like roulette, don't reward skill or improvement. Playing them more won't make you better. Compare that to chess or business, where every move teaches valuable lessons, turning even failures into fuel for future improvement. When deciding where to invest time and energy, it helps to ask, is this game just about the prize? Is it fun for its own sake? Or is it a chance to build skills for the future? Answering clarifies the kind of game you're in, and understanding the game's nature helps you make better decisions and become the player you aspire to be. Insight that's particularly vital in complex strategic interactions, like negotiations, where information often dictates the outcome. Let's look at this in more detail. Negotiations are information games. Negotiations don't always reward power or fairness. They reward information. The more a player in this particular kind of game knows about their own position and their opponents, the stronger their bargaining hand. When information is uneven, what economists call asymmetric information, it creates a lopsided game. The side that knows less is usually the side that loses. This dynamic plays out in everyday scenarios. A person might issue an ultimatum, confident that the other side has no better option. But if they've misjudged the situation, they may be surprised when the other side walks away. Knowing the true value of an opponent's alternatives, called their outside options, is essential. Misreading those options can lead to failed deals and regret. The classic lab-based ultimatum game makes this clear. One player offers a split of money, and the others can accept or reject it. Even when rejection means walking away with nothing, people often reject low-ball offers to punish unfairness. This behavior demonstrates that player motivations encompass dignity, respect, and perceived justice alongside financial gain. Recognizing this, smart negotiators craft offers designed to resonate with the other side's full range of values. This is exactly what went wrong in a famous music industry standoff. In 1999, Destiny's Child had just hit #1. Two of its members, Latavia and Latoya, felt sidelined. They saw favoritism toward Beyoncé and believed the group's manager, her father, Matthew Knowles, was the problem. They delivered an ultimatum: him or us. But they failed to understand that Matthew had already made his choice. His choice reflected his true priority: grooming a breakout star. He'd invested heavily in Beyoncé's rise and saw her as the future. The rest of the group? Replaceable. Latavia and Latoya overestimated their leverage. They believed the group's success required their presence. Matthew, armed with better information and a clear plan, called their bluff and dismissed them. The outcome was determined by who understood the game. Matthew held the advantage because he had a clear goal and better insight into the music industry's structure, where a few stars earn the majority of rewards. Industries driven by popularity, from books to music to wealth accumulation, create steep power curves. Small differences early on become massive gaps over time. The lesson? Never walk into a negotiation assuming all players value the same things. Gather information. Understand your opponent's goals, limits, and alternatives. And if you're issuing an ultimatum, make sure you're not the one with the weaker hand. Make peace with uncertainty, and you'll find it easier to make smart calls. Information is power, but too much information or too much thinking can backfire. In complex decision making, more data doesn't always mean better results. Every extra bit of thought or research comes at a cost. Time, energy, and focus are limited, and at some point, the value of more insight starts to shrink. That's the law of diminishing returns in action. The more you invest, the less each additional effort pays off. Take the beauty contest game, an example used in behavioral economics. The name comes from an old newspaper contest where people picked the faces they thought others would find most beautiful. Not their personal favorites, but what they thought the crowd would prefer. The trick is to predict what others think others will predict. The deeper this recursion goes, the more tangled the reasoning becomes. Think too little, and you guess wrong. Think too much, and you can still guess wrong, but with more frustration. This same logic appears in financial markets. Stock prices rise when demand rises. So profiting requires picking the company that collective opinion will favor and perceive as the best. Success in stock picking consequently relies heavily on predicting mass behavior. And the deeper you try to go into what others believe, the more mentally exhausting the game becomes. Behaviorist economist Rosemary Nagel explored this in a modified beauty game contest. Players picked a number between 0 and 100. The winner was the person closest to 2/3 of the average guesses. Many chose 33, thinking others would guess randomly. If everyone picks 33, the winning answer shifts to 22, and the cycle continues. Eventually, players either underthink or overthink and end up with poor outcomes. There's a sweet spot in the middle, and finding it is key. This illustrates the challenge of games where strategy depends on others' expectations. Overthinking doesn't guarantee better performance. In fact, it often leads you in circles. In many real-world games like financial markets, prediction is so complex that skill gives way to chance. Past a certain level, decisions depend more on luck than insight. The actionable takeaway is this: don't chase perfect information. It rarely exists, and striving for it can drain your time and energy. Instead, look for the good enough decision. Think carefully, but not endlessly. Know when to stop digging. Often, the first well-reasoned answer is just as good or better than the answer you'd arrive at after hours of analysis. Make peace with uncertainty. Make your best move and move on. The marriage game. Making peace with uncertainty and the limits of prediction applies profoundly to one of life's biggest commitments: marriage. Beyond romance, it's a complex long-term game involving negotiation, commitment, specific rules, players, and stakes. Understanding these dynamics through the lens of game theory offers powerful, practical insights for this unique partnership. First, marriage functions as a negotiation game. Spouses must regularly make joint decisions about money, careers, parenting, and even aging parents. If either partner feels they could get a better deal outside the marriage, financially, emotionally, or otherwise, the relationship may unravel. Just like in a business deal, both parties must perceive the agreement as better than their alternatives. But marriage is also a commitment game. Entering it is like betting on your future self and your partner's. People often assume they'll feel the same 5, 10, or 20 years down the line. That's a cognitive mistake called projection bias, overestimating how stable your preferences will be over time. Future selves don't always want what present selves do. You might buy an elliptical with the best intentions, but never use it. Likewise, you might say, I do, assuming permanent love, only to feel differently years later. Managing projection bias means imagining multiple future scenarios and being honest about risks, not just hopes. To avoid costly regrets, approach the decision to marry as you would a major investment. Consider best and worst case scenarios. If the legal system doesn't offer enough protection in bad outcomes, a prenuptial agreement might be smart. This approach reflects sound strategic planning. Think of it as setting terms for a high-stakes partnership. Inside the marriage, the negotiation and commitment games often interact. Constant brinkmanship, threats, ultimatums, power struggles signals a deeper instability. In game theory, this is known as the chicken game, where each side escalates until someone backs down. But in relationships, winning a standoff often leads to long-term losses. Trust erodes, and partners begin to feel like adversaries. Legal marriage can curb brinkmanship by creating real consequences for walking away. Commitment requires a binding legal status. Within this binding framework, marriage still requires continuous effort, functioning like a daily group project that rarely has clear rules or clean scoreboards. When exhaustion hits and tempers flare at 3 a.m. with a crying baby and overflowing laundry, it's easy to forget you're playing on the same team. In those moments, success comes not from winning arguments, but from choosing empathy over ego. Reminding yourself that both partners are doing their best can diffuse conflict better than any negotiation tactic. Ultimately, every marriage ends, either in divorce or death. That reality makes clear why commitment and negotiation matter so much. Options are finite. Value them while they're still on the table. Focusing on earning helps you save with purpose later. The reality of finite options and making choices within constraints extends powerfully into our financial lives. Often, seemingly extreme financial decisions occur because appealing alternatives are simply unavailable. In economics, this is known as a corner solution, a situation where a decision maker is pushed into an all-or-nothing choice because other options are out of reach. For example, imagine someone needing transportation whose car breaks down unexpectedly. If immediate repairs are unaffordable and borrowing isn't possible, relying solely on a less convenient public transport route might become the necessary and forced choice due to these limitations. This kind of constrained decision-making plays out in everyday financial life. Many people would love to save more or invest for the future, but their present needs are too urgent. Rent, food, medical bills. These costs outweigh the long-term benefits of saving. For those without access to credit, options are even more limited. If you can't borrow due to a low credit score, you're effectively locked out of many financial tools others take for granted. Living in scarcity can feel like being stuck in a financial corner, involving both the lack of money and a significant mental toll. This is because scarcity impairs decision-making and increases the chances of long-term impulsive choices. Behavioral economists have also shown that scarcity can lead to tunnel vision, where stress blocks out long-term planning. That's why it's so common to make purchases that provide emotional relief, even though they make financial matters worse. If you're living with limited means, the first priority shouldn't be saving. It should be reducing stress and increasing income. Trying to scrape together savings while barely covering basic needs can create more psychological strain than benefit. Instead, focus energy on building earning power. Once your financial baseline stabilizes, you'll be in a better position to save and invest wisely. When you're ready to save, start with an emergency fund. This creates a safety net so you're not forced into more corner solutions when life throws a curveball. Keep emergency funds in cash where they're safe and accessible. After that, move on to long-term savings, retirement, college, home ownership, and invest in diversified options like index funds, which grow steadily over time. Don't forget to reflect on how you're spending money today. Are your purchases truly meaningful or just for show? Cutting back on status-driven spending can free up money for more lasting goals. And assess your environment too. If your cost of living is high, but your quality of life is low, it may be time to make a bold move, geographic or otherwise. Whether you're in scarcity or stability, the same truth holds. Make the best decisions you can with the options available. And when new options appear, be ready to take them. In this Blink to Hate the Game by Daryl Fairweather, you've learned that success depends significantly on picking games that offer opportunities for growth. This starts with picking games that offer growth opportunities. In specific situations, it means recognizing that better information is the key to winning negotiations, and that overthinking actually weakens decisions, making careful, timely choices more effective. This strategic understanding extends to personal life as well. Marriage works best when partners proactively plan for change and stay committed, while navigating financial hardship often requires focusing on earning before saving. Ultimately, smart players leverage this understanding to act effectively with what they have while building stronger options for the future. Okay, that's it for this Blink. We hope you enjoyed it. If you can, please take the time to leave us a rating. We always appreciate your feedback. See you in the next Blink.